So, I was taking a look at your website, which, again, want to plug it again, Chivona Newsome for Congress.com. If you can donate, please go check it out. And there, it's a great website. It talks about some of the issues that you're looking to, enact change with. And so for people that are hopefully, and you should be going to vote on June 23rd and for Chivona, will you start give them a little bit of background on some of the, there's so much to go into with those policies. It's a lot. But some of the big ones that stood out are universal basic income.
Yes.
Right?
I am a big supporter of guaranteed income. Martin Luther King, what people don't know, was actually fighting for guaranteed income before he lost his life. He wanted $30 million from the government to eradicate poverty back then. I really wish they would have gave it to him because we wouldn't be having this conversation. When I referenced the Black Panther Party earlier, that was in their 10-point plan of federal jobs guarantee and also a guaranteed income. I do believe that people need some kind of floor. People need an income. And actually, it's weird that everyone says, what are you going to do when you get in office? When I've done these things before getting into office. So me combined with the income movement, and Andrew Yang actually signed on to this letter. This is before the first stimulus package was passed. We were calling for money to be given to every single person over the age of 18 and compensation for children. And I signed the Humanity Forward Pledge, which was $2,000 during the whole COVID crisis. And then I believe it's $1,200 thereafter, because no one deserves to be poor. And we have to, I'm going to get really nerdy on you guys now, so Google these things. The fourth industrial revolution is coming. Things are going to drastically change with automation, and the wealth disparity is going to increase. So the rich will get richer, and there's going to be no middle class. So while we figure out a way to keep Americans working and keep people going and look at new ways of, because I believe in green jobs. My area is super polluted because poverty goes hand in hand with economic injustice. We need to give Americans money. We need to help them, and that's a huge issue.
And you were a financial advisor, so especially in poor Black neighborhoods, especially explain to people that don't understand when they're like, oh well, we don't want to give money to just for being alive. What $1,000, $2,000 a month could do for someone in that community, right? Because there is these underlying effects of when you give people money. It also gives them hope. It also gives them potential drive, different things here and there. So, and you've seen that firsthand. So yes. Talk about what that would do and what that would look like and why that's important as an idea to get behind.
Every single thing on my platform is backed by the people. And it took me a while to put up policy. Like my competitors were like, why are you taking so long? What do you plan to do? Because I polled the neighborhood, me and my volunteers, and I literally asked people, what would you do with an extra $1,000 a month? For the seniors and stuff, it came with a little bit of rent relief. It came with being the same thing with my dad, being able to buy medicine. With the younger people, I realized that they wanted to set some aside for entrepreneurship, just for childcare. So all those basic necessities that people of privilege take advantage of, it would help people maintain their lives. They don't realize that people are living paycheck to paycheck. People's rents are always usually a month behind where I'm from because they can only afford to make partial payments. Someone said literally pay my rent in full, and $1,000 really doesn't seem like a lot in today's economy, but where the median income in the Bronx is $28,000, that's an extra $12,000 a month without considering people who have children.
Wow. And I was reading, or I might have listened to you on one interview talk about, I think...
you did your research on me?
Of course.
You did it? I like it.
Is, coming from your congressional district, one of the poorest in the country, I think it's like a 90% college dropout rate, 40% high school dropout rate. So is there also potential benefits of universal basic income for that, for education, for reinvesting in those poor Black communities that are getting no funding? Those schools are so underfunded. Talk about what it could do for just, getting Black people more in school and keeping them there because they resort to other ways to try to survive. And
also, not in addition to UBI, right? Because people in my district they face homelessness because they don't have the money to pay rent. So that means that a lot of children in the Bronx are transient. They're constantly switching schools. They don't have a root and a foundation. excuse me, that's when the tiredness catches up. I start to sound a little hoarse. But while I'm still awake, I'll spit it out for you. That's where my other policy platforms come into place. I do believe in free college tuition, because then we'll have more representation. We'll have people from the community completing college. A lot of people in my community actually start college. They just don't have the means to finish college. Then we think about other things in terms of, if we have free health care, people actually wouldn't have to take that UBI money to pay for medicine. And on a federal level, I do believe in needs-based funding. I grew up in that school district. I went to public school. I grew up in District Number 9, which is one of the poorest school districts and failing schools districts, because there's no money and no resources. Now, what we need to do is look at the schools that are currently underfunded, and on a federal level, there needs to be a need-based kind of a program where we're pumping money into schools so we can level the playing field. Like, your kid should not have to be bused into the Upper West Side to get a quality education. My goal for the Bronx is to bring so many resources there that the Bronx is no longer a place where people want to escape. Most of the parents I know who have a little bit of money, who are probably above that $28,000 marker, what they do is their kids go to school, they try to get out and if they can't get out right away, their kids don't go to school within the district. They send their kids to private schools and other types of educational institutions where they have to travel and wake up really early in the morning, when we have 4 schools within walking distance of my block. And I'm talking about my neighbors when I say this. And this education policy actually came from a teacher who's lived in the Bronx his whole life. And he was like, hey, my policy for that came from a teacher he's a principal now. But thank you, Dr. Chase. He was actually my brother's high school teacher. And he was like, you need need-based federal funding. So you see how all of my policies are a collective. Just like everything I do, I believe in true democracy and the inputs of other people.